Have you ever felt guilty for putting yourself first? It's something we've all experienced. Putting others' needs ahead of our own, giving so much of ourselves, and often feeling drained in the process. But as we get older, especially after 70, we start to realize a powerful truth. If we don't take care of ourselves, we won't have the energy to take care of anyone else. In today's video, we'll dive into why prioritizing your happiness is not only essential for your well-being, but also how it can transform your life in ways you never imagined. We'll explore the freedom that comes with letting go of guilt, releasing the weight of others' expectations, and embracing your joy without hesitation. If you're ready to rediscover what truly matters, reclaim your peace, and start living more intentionally, this video is for you. Keep watching to learn how embracing your happiness can create a ripple effect that not only benefits you but everyone around you. Are you ready to live for yourself without guilt? Let's get started. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Letting go of the weight of others' opinions. Throughout our lives, the burden of others' opinions can feel almost unbearable, like an invisible weight pressing down on us, suffocating our true essence and diminishing our self-worth. From the very moment we are born, society begins to shape us, teaching us that our value is tied to how others see us, and how much approval we can gain from those around us. It starts with our families, who set standards for us that often feel impossible to meet. Then there are friends, sometimes well-meaning, but often quick to judge. And let's not forget the unspoken but ever-present pressures of society, which constantly bombard us with ideals of beauty, success, and behavior we're expected to live up to. For years, we spend our time and energy trying to meet the expectations set for us, trying to mold ourselves into someone else's vision of good. We strive to be the perfect son or daughter, the loyal, dependable friend, and the ambitious professional climbing the ladder of success. We sacrifice parts of ourselves, our dreams, our desires, our authenticity, just to fit into the narrow boxes others have created for us. And we don't even realize how deeply this affects us until much later in life. But what if, just for a moment, we stopped and asked ourselves, why am I carrying this weight? What if we let go of the constant, soul-draining desire for approval? What if we could finally stop seeking validation from the outside world? By the time we reach 70, we've lived through enough victories to celebrate, enough heartaches to heal, enough struggles to teach us that the only opinion that truly matters is our own. We've been through the storms of life and have emerged stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. It's in this stage of life that we begin to see the futility of caring about what others think of us. In hindsight, it becomes painfully clear how much precious time and energy we've wasted, agonizing over the judgments of others. Think about how many moments of pure joy you've missed because you were too worried about being criticized. How many times did you hold back from speaking your truth, afraid of what someone else might say? How many dreams did you silence because they didn't fit into someone else's idea of what you should do or who you should be? How many opportunities for love and connection slipped through your fingers because you were too focused on performing for others? It's heartbreaking when you stop to think about it, isn't it? But here's the incredible beauty of growing older. With age comes clarity. We begin to see things in a new light. We realize that opinions, those fleeting judgments from others, are nothing more than noise. They hold no true power unless we allow them to. Imagine the sense of freedom that would wash over you if, for the first time, you stopped caring about others' approval. Imagine waking up each day knowing that every choice you make, whether it's how you live your life, what you wear, or how you spend your time, is yours and yours alone. No longer will you feel the need to mold yourself into someone else's expectations. You'll finally be free to be your true, authentic self. Can you even imagine how different your life would be if you fully embraced this freedom? What would you do differently if you didn't feel the weight of others' opinions bearing down on you? The truth is, letting go of this burden is nothing short of liberating. It's like shedding layers of chains that have held us captive for far too long. It's emotional freedom, a rebirth, a moment of empowerment. When we stop caring about others' judgments, we reclaim our power, our voice, and our essence. We become the authors of our own story, no longer puppets dancing on the strings of someone else's expectations. Instead, we stand tall, fully in control of our destiny. This process of letting go is deeply personal, yet it's something so many of us can relate to. I know that many of you reading this have felt this weight, the crushing pressure to meet the standards of others. But what happens when you let go? How did it feel when you finally stopped trying to please everyone? Was it like a breath of fresh air, like the world suddenly opened up in ways it never had before? I'd love for you to share your experience in the comments below. Your story might be just what someone else needs to hear to break free from the chains of judgment and reclaim their authenticity. Releasing the need for approval isn't an act of defiance. It's an act of self-love. It's a declaration that you are worthy, just as you are, in all your imperfections. It's choosing to prioritize your happiness, peace, and well-being in a world that constantly tries to convince you that you're not enough. Yes, the weight of others' opinions can be heavy, but the freedom that comes from letting go is light, exhilarating, and all your own. It's empowering, and it's yours for the taking. Let's continue this conversation, and together, let's celebrate the beauty of living authentically, free from the suffocating burden of others' expectations. 2. Releasing the burden of material possessions. As the years go by, we begin to realize one of life's most profound truths. True happiness is not found in the things we own. Yet, for much of our lives, we fall into a familiar trap. One where we measure success, status, and even our worth by the accumulation of things. We collect clothes, gadgets, furniture, and countless other items, convincing ourselves that these possessions are essential. At the time, they may have brought us a fleeting sense of security, or they may have been symbols of success, a way to prove to the world, and perhaps to ourselves, that we've made it. But as time passes, it becomes strikingly clear that the things we once believed we owned are, in fact, the very things that now own us. We've become tied to these material possessions in ways we never imagined. Ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly, deeply joyful? I suspect that moment wasn't centered around something you bought or owned. Instead, it was likely an experience. An afternoon spent with family, a deep conversation with a friend, the quiet satisfaction of overcoming a personal challenge, or simply the feeling of peace that comes from being present at the moment. These are the memories that stay with us, the ones that fill our hearts with joy. The material things we collect, on the other hand, may bring us momentary pleasure, but they never seem to truly nourish the soul. As we reach our 70s and beyond, we find ourselves at a crossroads, where it's time to take a hard, honest look at our relationship with material possessions. How many of these things do we need? Our homes, our garages, and our closets are often overflowing with items we've accumulated over the years, things we haven't touched in months, if not years. We hold on to them out of habit, as if these possessions somehow validate us, or perhaps because letting go feels too difficult. Sure, some of these items carry sentimental value. A sweater from a special day, a piece of furniture passed down through generations, or a knick-knack from a memorable trip. But here's the truth we often overlook. We can honor these memories without being burdened by the physical clutter. The memories live within us, not in the objects. Imagine for a moment how freeing it would be to release some of this weight. Walk through your home and re-walk around. How many things have you been holding on to, simply because it's easier to keep them than to part with them? What would it feel like to let go of just one of those items? That sweater you haven't worn in years, or the stack of books you've been meaning to read but haven't touched. The act of letting go, of clearing space, can be profoundly liberating. Decluttering isn't just about tidying up your physical environment. It's about creating space within your mind and heart. Each item we hold onto carries a small amount of mental and emotional energy. The more we hold on to it, the heavier we feel. But the more we let go, the lighter and more open we become, both inside and out. Can you imagine the freedom that would come from simplifying your life? Picture how light and free you would feel if your home no longer felt like a museum of the past, but a reflection of who you are today. A place where you can breathe deeply, where the past doesn't weigh you down, and where the future feels full of possibility. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. As we get older, we begin to see that life is about quality, not quantity. It's not about how many things we own, but about how much we love, how deeply we experience life, and how much we truly live. Letting go of material possessions is a way to simplify our lives, to strip away the unnecessary so we can focus on what truly matters. It's not always easy. There are attachments, memories, and fears that make it hard. But I believe the lightness that comes from living with intention, with fewer things and more meaning, is worth every bit of effort. So, I encourage you to start small. Pick just one item, one possession that you've been holding on to, and let it go. See how it feels to create space in your life. I promise you, the more you release, the more freedom and peace you'll find. Your home will transform into a place of calm, a sanctuary that supports your well-being rather than weighs you down. The burden of material possessions may seem heavy, but the joy that comes from letting go is immeasurable. Let's embrace this journey of simplifying together. Let's share our stories and experiences, and support each other in finding peace by releasing the unnecessary. Because when we let go of what no longer serves us, we make room for what truly matters: experiences, relationships, and moments that fill our hearts with joy. Let's celebrate the freedom that comes with living lightly and with more intention. You deserve it. 3. Saying no to unnecessary social obligations. How many times have you found yourself trapped in a social gathering, forcing a smile, nodding along politely, while your heart longs for the quiet comfort of your own home? How often have you said yes to an event out of a sense of duty, knowing deep down that your soul craved peace, solitude, and time to reconnect with yourself? For so much of our lives, we feel obligated to say yes to every invitation, to maintain relationships that may no longer serve us, and to uphold social appearances for the sake of politeness or obligation. It often feels as though we are bound by invisible chains, pulling us into situations that drain our energy and leave us feeling empty. But as we age, particularly as we approach or surpass 70, something magical happens. We begin to realize that our time is our own, and it is far too precious to waste on obligations that don't bring us joy. With age comes the clarity and confidence to finally prioritize our own needs without guilt. We come to understand, perhaps for the first time, that we have the right to choose how we spend our time, and, more importantly, with whom we spend it. Think about it. Have you ever said yes to a social event out of sheer obligation, only to come home feeling utterly drained, unfulfilled, and wishing you had stayed in the warmth and comfort of your sanctuary? How many times have you pushed yourself to attend a gathering, only to feel that it left you more exhausted than before? I'm sure many of us have experienced this, and it's not a pleasant feeling. But here's the empowering truth. It is not only okay to say no, it can be one of the most liberating decisions you make. Imagine the freedom of declining an invitation without a shred of guilt, knowing that you are honoring your own needs. What if, instead of automatically saying yes, you gave yourself permission to pause and consider what you truly want to do? What if you listened to that quiet inner voice, the one that craves a peaceful evening spent reading a book or taking a quiet walk in nature, rather than surrendering to the pressure of forced small talk in a crowded room? The truth is, life becomes infinitely lighter, and far more joyful when we start to reserve our energy for the things and people that truly matter to us. Saying no doesn't mean withdrawing from the world or cutting yourself off from social connections. It's not about avoiding all social interactions or isolating yourself completely. Instead, it's about being intentional and selective with how you spend your time. is about giving yourself the gift of presence, the ability to truly show up, not out of obligation, but because you genuinely want to be there. When we prioritize our well-being, we begin to show up more fully in the moments that matter most. Our presence becomes deeper, richer, and more meaningful because we're not there out of a sense of duty. We're there because we want to connect, nurture relationships, and to experience life in a way that aligns with our true selves. Saying no doesn't close the door to the world. It opens the door to a life filled with more peace, more joy, and more freedom. It allows us to protect our energy and make room for what brings us true fulfillment. Imagine what it would feel like to step back, to say no to the things that drain you, without hesitation or guilt. What if you could let go of the pressure to be everywhere for everyone? What if you could reclaim your time for the things that matter most? The relationships that uplift you, the experiences that enrich your life, or the quiet moments that help you recharge. By releasing the need to be at every event or to please everyone, you make space for deeper, more meaningful connections. Whether that's spending time with loved ones who truly nourish you or finding peace in your own company, which can be just as valuable. Reflect on this. Are there social obligations in your life that no longer serve you? Are there gatherings or relationships that drain your energy instead of lifting you? Choosing to say no, you're not being selfish, you're being self-aware. You're choosing to protect your energy, to preserve your peace, and to honor your own needs. And by doing so, you're giving yourself the freedom to live a life on your own terms. A life filled with joy, authenticity, and deep connection. I encourage you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. How has learning to say no transformed your life? What shifts have you noticed in your energy and your relationships as you've embraced the power of choosing your own path? Let's celebrate this freedom together, knowing that every no is a step toward a life that is more aligned with our true desires. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Embracing authentic beauty. For most of our lives, we are bombarded by society's definition of beauty. From the pages of glossy magazines to the endless barrage of images on television and social media, we are constantly reminded of what beauty should look like. Flawless skin, a toned body, and youthful features are often presented as the ultimate ideals. And for many of us, these images become the standard we feel compelled to chase. It's a standard that can feel impossibly out of reach, one that keeps us in a perpetual state of striving, always measuring ourselves against an unattainable ideal. As we age, this pressure only intensifies. Society whispers ever so subtly that we must fight the inevitable signs of aging, that our wrinkles, our gray hairs, and our changing bodies are something to be hidden, concealed, or reversed. We're told that these signs of time are imperfections to be avoided at all costs. But what if we dared to reject that narrative? What if, instead of resisting the natural process of aging, we chose to embrace it? What if, instead of seeing the lines on our faces as flaws, we viewed them as stories etched into our skin, each one a mark of laughter, of love, of wisdom gained through experience? What if those gray hairs, once a source of dread, were seen as a badge of honor, a testament to the rich life we've lived and the knowledge we've acquired along the way? Each wrinkle tells a story, each laugh line represents a moment of joy, each crease around our eyes speaks of the challenges we've overcome. These marks of time are not imperfections to be erased, but rather symbols of resilience, of a life fully lived. True beauty, after all, has nothing to do with conforming to society's narrow, superficial standards. It is not about chasing an elusive perfection, but about embracing who we are at every stage of life, in all of our uniqueness. Real beauty is about depth of character, the kindness we show to others, and the confidence we carry within ourselves. It's about being unapologetically ourselves, wrinkles and all, and standing tall in the truth of who we are, without shame or self-doubt. Take a moment to think about the people in your life who you find truly beautiful. Is it their flawless skin or youthful features that draw you to them, or is it something deeper, something far more enduring? More likely than not, their beauty has little to do with appearance at all. It's the warmth in their smile, the wisdom in their eyes, and the authenticity with which they move through the world. It's the way they radiate kindness, how they make others feel valued and seen. These are the qualities that make a person beautiful. Not the surface, but the soul beneath. Authentic beauty is timeless. It's not about resisting change or trying to turn back the clock. Instead, it's about honoring the incredible journey that has brought us to where we are today. It's about celebrating the life experiences that have shaped us, and recognizing that our beauty is a reflection of all that we've lived, loved, and learned. It's about embracing our true selves, flaws and all, and letting that light shine from within. The beauty we carry is not something that fades with age. It only deepens, enriches, and evolves as we do. As we age, we begin to recognize that true beauty isn't about looking young. It's about living fully, loving deeply, and growing with grace. It's about letting go of the pressure to conform to someone else's idea of perfection, and instead owning our own narrative with pride. So, let's celebrate the beauty that comes from within, the beauty that radiates outward, not because of how we look, but because of who we are. Let's embrace our wrinkles, our gray hairs, and the stories they tell. Let's honor the passage of time, not as something to be feared or fought, but as a gift, one that brings wisdom, growth, and a truly timeless beauty. 5. Reevaluating activities that no longer bring joy. Life is a collection of routines, some that nourish our hearts with joy, purpose, and meaning, and others that weigh us down like invisible burdens, carried out of habit rather than genuine desire. Over the years, it's easy to fall into patterns of doing things simply because we've always done them. We often find ourselves checking off boxes, following familiar paths without stopping to question whether they still bring us the happiness and fulfillment they once did. But as we age, especially after reaching 70, something beautiful happens. We gain the wisdom and freedom to reassess how we spend our precious time. Have you ever asked yourself, are there activities or hobbies that once filled your heart with excitement, but now feel empty or tiresome? Are there traditions you've upheld for years, yet no longer seem to align with who you are today? One of the most liberating aspects of growing older is the ability to let go of things that no longer serve us. It's not about disregarding or devaluing the experiences that shaped us. It's about recognizing that we have the right to evolve. Our passions, our desires, and even our interests may shift as we grow, and that's not just okay, it's beautiful. The person you were at 30, 50, or even 60 is not the same person you are now, and your daily activities should reflect that growth. Take a moment to think about your current routines. How much of your time is spent doing things out of obligation, things that feel more like chores than sources of joy? How many tasks or commitments do you continue to uphold simply because it's what you've always done, rather than because they still spark meaning in your life? What would happen if you permitted yourself to let go of just one of those things? Imagine the lightness, the freedom you might feel by releasing something that no longer brings you happiness. Maybe it's a hobby you once loved, but now no longer feel connected to. Perhaps it's a social group or a long-standing tradition that now feels more like a duty than a joy. It could even be something as small as a weekly activity you've outgrown, or something larger, like a life routine that no longer fits with your current desires. At this stage of life, we have the beautiful opportunity to let go of what no longer serves us, shedding unnecessary weight, and making space for new adventures, new passions, and new ways to find fulfillment. Life is not meant to be a checklist of tasks we feel compelled to complete. It is meant to be a journey, a collection of moments that nourish our souls and enrich our hearts. By reevaluating how we spend our time, we open ourselves up to discovering what truly brings us joy. What if the next chapter of your life holds a newfound passion you never even thought to explore when you were younger? What if there's an entirely new social circle waiting for you to discover? Or perhaps it's a creative pursuit you never had time for, something that lights a spark inside you. The beauty of life after 70 is that there are no rules, no expectations. The world is your canvas, and you get to choose how you fill it. We tend to cling to routines because they're familiar, but what if we let go of that fear? What if we embraced the unknown, trusted that our interests are meant to grow and change, and allowed ourselves the freedom to explore new possibilities. You might be surprised at how much joy can come from stepping outside the boundaries of the life you've known, or from releasing something that no longer serves your happiness. So here's an invitation for reflection. Are there activities in your life that now feel more like obligations than joys? Are there routines you've outgrown but continue to follow simply out of habit? This is your time to decide how you want to spend your days. By permitting yourself to release what no longer serves you, you're creating space for new experiences that will bring excitement, meaning, and fulfillment. Life after 70 is not about winding down or retreating from the world. It's about rediscovering what makes you feel alive. It's about filling your days with the things that truly matter to you. Whether that means reigniting an old passion, exploring a new interest, or simply enjoying the peace that comes from unstructured time. This stage of life can be a time of liberation and growth, where you have the freedom to choose the life you want to live. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. 6. Cutting ties with toxic relationships. Relationships are at the heart of what makes life meaningful. The right connections can bring joy, support, and a profound sense of belonging. But not all relationships are created equal. While some enrich our lives, others leave us feeling drained, unappreciated, and weighed down by negativity. As we age, particularly after reaching 70, it becomes increasingly important to reflect on the relationships we allow into our lives. We've had enough experiences to understand the impact others can have on our emotional well-being. Now is the time to assess which relationships lift us and which ones hold us back. Think for a moment. Are there people in your life who consistently bring joy, love, and support? Who makes you feel cherished for who you truly are? And just as importantly, are there people who drain your energy, make you feel small, or leave you emotionally exhausted? It's natural to want to hold on to relationships out of habit or a sense of obligation, but it's crucial to realize that not all relationships are worth keeping. Toxic relationships, whether with a friend who constantly complains, a family member who always criticizes, or an acquaintance who makes you feel inferior, can take a heavy toll on your spirit. These connections can become sources of stress, anxiety, and emotional fatigue. As we grow older, we gain the clarity and wisdom to recognize that we have the power to choose who we allow into our lives. Time becomes more precious, and we realize that we deserve to surround ourselves with people who contribute to our well-being, not diminish it. Walking away isn't selfish, it's self-care. Letting go of toxic relationships isn't an act of selfishness. On the contrary, it's an act of profound self-care. It's about acknowledging that you deserve relationships that bring peace, joy, and positivity into your life. It's about recognizing that life is too short to waste on people who don't respect or value you. How many times have you maintained a relationship out of guilt, even when you knew it was unhealthy for you? How many times have you walked away from a conversation feeling drained, wondering why you continue to allow that negativity into your life? While it can be difficult to let go of these relationships, doing so can create the space needed for healthier, more fulfilling connections to enter. Imagine your life surrounded by positivity. Imagine how your life could change if you surrounded yourself with people who lift you and make you feel valued for who you truly are. Picture a life where every interaction nourishes your soul, where conversations are filled with kindness, respect, and mutual support. How would that feel? As we age, we come to understand that quality matters more than quantity in relationships. It's not about having a large circle of friends, but about having the right people in your life, the ones who make you feel loved, appreciated, and understood. These are the relationships that bring us joy and fulfillment, and they should be the ones we prioritize. By letting go of toxic relationships, we make room for new, healthier bonds to flourish. These are the relationships that provide emotional nourishment and help us live a more vibrant, joyful life. And it's never too late to start making these choices. So, I encourage you to reflect. Are there relationships in your life that no longer serve you? Are there people who consistently drain your energy or make you feel less than others? What would it feel like to let go of these connections and create space for relationships that truly uplift you? Walking away from toxic relationships isn't easy, but it's one of the most empowering acts of self-care you can offer yourself. In doing so, you open the door to deeper, more fulfilling connections. You make room for the love and joy that you truly deserve. Let's start a conversation. How have you dealt with toxic relationships in your life? What changes have you made to cultivate more positive, supportive connections? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might just inspire someone else to embrace the power of choosing relationships that bring peace, happiness, and fulfillment. 8. Redefining goals. What truly matters now? As we journey through life, the goals we set are often shaped by external influences, societal expectations, family pressures, or the dreams we once held dear. In our younger years, success might have meant building a career, achieving financial independence, or reaching certain milestones that promised happiness and fulfillment. But as we grow older, particularly after the age of 70, we begin to realize that those same goals may no longer resonate with us. What once felt important may now feel distant, and that's perfectly okay. Life is a constant evolution, and as we evolve, so too do our definitions of success. Perhaps there was a time when career advancement, wealth accumulation, or recognition were your primary driving forces. You may have worked hard to achieve these things, and in many cases, you likely succeeded. But as the years go by, you may find that these goals no longer hold the same meaning. The fulfillment that once seemed so tied to these achievements may now feel hollow, and new priorities are emerging. Letting go of old goals and embracing new desires. This is the perfect time to reflect. What truly matters now? What brings you joy, peace, and a sense of fulfillment today? The goals you once pursued may no longer be aligned with the person you are now, and that's completely normal. Letting go of past definitions of success can feel liberating. It allows you to focus on what brings you true satisfaction, not what you thought would make you happy years ago. This doesn't mean that you're abandoning your dreams or giving up on everything you've worked for. Instead, it's about creating space for new dreams that align with your current values and desires. Perhaps you're realizing that happiness no longer comes from external markers like a career title or a bank balance. Instead, it might be found in simpler, more meaningful pursuits. Spending more time with loved ones, nurturing relationships, pursuing a long-forgotten passion, or finding joy in everyday moments of peace. Success at this stage in life may be less about achieving grand external milestones and more about living in alignment with your authentic self. It may be about embracing the beauty of the present moment, finding fulfillment in the relationships that matter most, and creating new growth opportunities to nurture your spirit. Reflecting on what truly matters. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Now is the time to reassess your goals and ask, are they still truly mine? Or are they echoes of ambitions I once had, shaped by the pressures of the past? It's not always easy to let go of old goals, especially when they are deeply ingrained in our identity. But this period of life offers a unique opportunity to choose what matters and release what no longer serves us. As you reflect on your current goals, think about what would bring you true joy and fulfillment today. Maybe it's finally permitting yourself to pursue a creative passion, like painting or writing, that you never had the time for. Or perhaps it's focusing on your health and well-being, creating a daily routine that nourishes both body and soul. It could be as simple as deepening your relationships with family and friends or finding new ways to contribute to your community, creating space for a life of meaning. Ultimately, this stage of life is about embracing what feels authentic to you now and recognizing that success is a deeply personal journey. It's about finding the courage to let go of past expectations and instead pursue the things that truly bring joy, peace, and fulfillment. You are not bound by the goals of your younger self. You are free to redefine success on your terms. The beauty of this stage is that it's yours to shape. Whether it's pursuing new dreams, re-engaging with old passions, or simply enjoying the richness of each day, This is your time to create a life that reflects the person you are today. So take a moment to reflect. What goals or dreams from your past are still driving you, and do they still serve you? What new dreams are emerging now? The power to create a fulfilling and meaningful life at any age is within your hands. You have the freedom to choose what matters most. Don't be afraid to embrace this new chapter with an open heart and a renewed sense of purpose. Let's share our stories. What goals or dreams have you let go of? And what new dreams have you embraced in this stage of life? Your reflections might inspire others to reimagine what success means for them. 9. Embracing the wisdom of aging. As we grow older, we accumulate not just years, but wisdom, the kind of wisdom that can only come from living a full, varied life. The experiences we've gathered, the lessons learned from hardship, the joys shared with loved ones, and the quiet moments of self-reflection. These are the treasures that aging brings. With this wisdom comes a deeper understanding of what truly matters. Aging doesn't diminish your worth or potential. Rather, it enhances it. You gain the ability to look back at the road you've walked and appreciate how far you've come. You can now recognize the patterns in your life, understand the mistakes that were made, and honor the growth that emerged from them. This understanding enables you to live more fully in the present, not burdened by regrets or the pressure of future expectations. One of the most empowering gifts of aging is the ability to let go of past goals, values, and expectations, and replace them with what truly brings peace and fulfillment now. The person you are today is a culmination of all the experiences you've had, and that wisdom allows you to live with a sense of freedom and grace. Prioritizing your happiness without guilt. One of the greatest challenges many of us face is learning to prioritize our happiness without feeling guilty about it. For years, especially as we raise families, build careers, or serve our communities, we tend to put the needs of others ahead of our own. It becomes a habit, a way of life. But as we reach our later years, particularly after 70, we start to understand a profound truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you spend all your energy taking care of others without caring for yourself, you'll eventually find there's nothing left to give. This is the time when you begin to realize that prioritizing your happiness is not selfish. It's essential. You've spent years giving to others, often at the expense of your well-being, but now it's time to fill your cup, so you can continue to offer light, love, and support, without depleting yourself in the process. Releasing guilt. Self-care as necessity, not indulgence. Have you ever felt guilty for saying no to an obligation, for taking time to rest, or for choosing something that brings you joy over something that drains you? Many of us feel this guilt because we've been taught that selflessness is a virtue. But in reality, self-care is an act of love, both for yourself and others. When you prioritize your happiness, you become a better version of yourself. You're more energized, more present, and more capable of giving to others in a meaningful way. Imagine how different your life could be if you stopped feeling guilty about taking time for yourself. What if you could embrace self-care, not as an indulgence, but as a necessity for your well-being? What if you could pursue the things that bring you joy without the constant worry that you're letting someone else down? The truth is, when you take care of yourself, you're benefiting everyone around you. Your happiness is a gift to those who love you. A well-rested, fulfilled, and contented you will naturally radiate positivity and be a source of light for others. Living lightly, releasing burdens and embracing joy. Life after 70 offers a unique opportunity to live more lightly, more intentionally, and with greater joy. At this stage, you're free to release the burdens you've carried for so long. These burdens might be the weight of others' expectations, the clutter of material possessions you no longer need, the heaviness of toxic relationships, or societal pressures that no longer align with who you truly are. By letting go of these things, you create space for what truly matters. You can focus on the relationships that lift you, on experiences that bring you joy and fulfillment, and on the simple pleasures that make life meaningful. Imagine the freedom of living without the pressure to please everyone, without the burden of unnecessary things, and without toxic connections that drain your energy. This stage of life is an invitation to live intentionally, to choose joy, to surround yourself only with what brings peace and happiness, and to fill your days with meaning. Let go of the guilt that comes from taking care of yourself, and embrace the idea that your happiness is just as important as anyone else's. A new chapter of freedom and fulfillment. This is your time to shine. You've spent so much of your life giving to others, and now it's time to give to yourself. Embrace the freedom to live lightly, prioritize your happiness, and fill your life with the things that bring you peace, fulfillment, and joy. How can you begin prioritizing your happiness today? What burdens or expectations can you let go of to make room for more peace and fulfillment in your life? The freedom to live on your terms is one of the greatest gifts of aging, and it's a beautiful time to rediscover what truly matters to you. Share your thoughts. What steps are you taking to prioritize your happiness? What things or burdens are you releasing to embrace this new chapter of life? Your story could inspire someone else to live with more joy and less guilt. As we've explored today, aging is not about slowing down. It's about embracing the wisdom, freedom, and joy that comes with each new chapter of life. It's about letting go of old burdens, redefining success, prioritizing our happiness, and celebrating the richness of the journey. The lessons we've learned over the years are powerful, and now is the time to put them into practice, to live more intentionally and authentically. So, what have you learned from today's video? What insights or ideas will you take with you into your own life, especially as you embrace the beauty and freedom of aging? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share one thing you've learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Drop your comments below this video. I'm excited to hear your reflections. If you like this video, don't forget to leave your comment, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring content. Let's continue this journey together, celebrating the wisdom of aging and the joy of living with purpose. Thank you for watching.